entire time they're talking. That keeps it legal.
Well, and one of the remarkable things is you haven't even seen these ads.
I don't see these ads until you see these ads.
You cannot coordinate these ads. You've never seen these ads. So let me ask you, despite that fact of never seeing these ads.
Yes, sir.
What part of the ad did you like the best? Before you saw it right here, because you've seen it before, but you haven't seen it.
The part I liked the best was reusing the Willie Horton.
That was nice.
From 1998, The Murderers being released. And I want to, on the record, I'm not going to confirm or deny whether I ever released any murderers. Right. But if I did release any murderers, it's only because I had released some shoplifters. And to go get some arsonists. Right. And to get the arsonists back, I had to release the murderers. Right. But I'm going to get the murderers back by releasing tigers.
So what you're saying is you release the shoplifters, that's sort of a gateway to releasing murderers.
Yeah.
So, but is it not, it is actually comical to see somebody like Mitt Romney say, I haven't even seen the ads in the debate. And then he goes, I haven't seen the ads. And then he said, but let me tell you something. The part of that ad that I thought was really disturbing was...
In terms of what I understand,
it really is. The bigger point, obviously,
it either means that it's disingenuous, or the simpler answer might be that Mitt Romney is psychic.
You could be psychic.
You think about that?
Can we get back onto the
We can get back to whatever you want to do. We really are just sort of wandering around.
Let's get back to open marriage.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Wow. So this is the question I think that should have been asked Newt Gingrich last night. I'll ask it of you. Okay. Speaking purely hypothetically, what is the best way to broach that subject with one's spouse?
Honey, I'd like to bang someone new. Honesty is the best policy. Here's the thing that I don't think Newt Gingrich gets credit for. Okay, a lot of politicians screw around on their wives, but he was enough of a gentleman to ask permission first. Okay? That's a Southern gentleman. That's what Robert E. Lee would have done.
In some ways, all of his marriages have been open marriages, but he just wanted to go from de facto to de jure.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. I don't speak French.
So we've gone a long way from Tony Perkins an hour ago.
Tony's a good guy.
Yeah. He is
Did you ask him about open marriage?
Yes.
Yeah, we did.
You did?
Yeah, we asked him.
How does he feel about it?
Well, he didn't talk about his opinions on open marriage, but he did not feel that the question was appropriate, especially where it was placed.
Yeah, don't put it up top.
Yeah, don't put it up top was another thing that his second wife said.
I know you're not a candidate. You're only exploring.
I'm only exploring the possibility.
Yeah, you're a dyed-in-the-will conservative, right?
Absolutely. You want to beat
the president. Is Mitt Romney conservative enough for you? Is he skilled enough to beat the president?
You know what? I don't know. I think Mitt Romney's probably a very good guy. But a recent poll put out by Marist and paid for by the definitely not coordinating with Stephen Colbert super PAC has found that 41% of South Carolinians are not satisfied with their choices.
Right.
You know, I don't think that's good news.
And you're the
I don't think that's
trusted.
good news for anybody but Herman Cain.
It's not good news.
Yeah.
What do you think when you see polls that show you're the most trusted candidate in South Carolina?
I have the highest favorability. I have the highest favorability rating of any of the Republican candidates, even though I'm not one. Right. Nationally, not just South Carolina, nationally, I have the highest favorability ratings, Joe.
Everybody in this room, our favorability.
There it is.
Look at that. Steve, I got to say though, let's just soak this in for a second, and think about how absolutely disturbing it is.
Yeah.
That Stephen Colbert is seen more favorably as guys who've been running for president of the United States for a decade.
I have to imagine that several of those respondents were my mother.
Another way to look at that is you're only 9% more popular than Ron Paul.
Ron Paul's a good man.
Yeah.
Do you know that if you guess Ron Paul's name, he has to teach you to spin hay into gold?
Do you guess his name?
You guess his name.
So, Stephen.
Oh, my God. Really, you go with the name? I guess.
If you had to choose one of the Republican candidates, if you had to.
If I had to choose one of them, Herman Cain. I would pick Herman Cain.
You're sure?
He's
absolutely. He's a Washington outsider. How much more of an outsider do you have to be? He's not even running.
And you had to choose someone who was running.
He is proven.
What if you had to choose from the 4 on the stage last night.
4 on the night. Can I chop them up and sew them into one person?
Oh yes, please.
I've heard that
Please
before.
do. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
Let's do that.
Oh my God.
I like Ron Paul. I really do. I really do. I really like Ron Paul. The guy is intellectually consistent.
Yes, he is.
He absolutely. He says the same thing, Monday that he said on Sunday. He doesn't change with the winds.
Yeah.
That's admirable, I think.
So without sucking up to this audience, talk about, you are a South Carolina guy. Talk about, every 4 years, South Carolina, I think, shapes a presidential election more than any other state.
South Carolina decides.
Talk about South Carolina and this state. It's fascinating history and fascinating people.
I'd say the interesting thing about South Carolina is that I don't think all people growing up in their state are taught about their home state,
right?
Like people in South Carolina are. And I talked to, we live up in the New York area now, and my kids growing up aren't learning that much about where they grew up. Starting in 3rd grade, every year I had a course that was just South Carolina history. I know that our state motto is Dum Spiro Spero. What's that mean? While I breathe, I hope. I'm not sure you could do that in every state.
Yeah, I don't think you could. My wife from Greenville, and she put on the front of her car, she's got the South Carolina tags. There is something about South Carolina that stays with you. I want to ask you something that I've asked Meacham. He's a Southern guy.
What?
John Meacham.
John Meacham. Oh, I know
John Meacham, a Southern guy, and one of the challenges, because John also lives in the New York area.
He does, yeah.
One of the challenges is keeping your children that grow up in Manhattan or in the New York area connected to your home.
Yes.
South Carolina is your home.
Absolutely. So we drag our children down here, we make them spend the summer down here, and we force them to catch crabs with raw chicken necks.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes.
That'll do it.
We have forced them to enjoy the smell of low tide. We have forced them. Somehow we have brainwashed our children to enjoy the smell of decay.
Yeah. How's it working for them?
Oh, it's great. They can't wait to get down there.
But you do bring them down an awful lot.
We do,
right?
and we send them to camp. We send them to camp in North Carolina. Yeah. My wife, whose family, that's my father-in-law.
Father-in-law,
right back there. Right next door last night, there was a thing called the St. Cecilia Society Ball last night, and my wife's family are a member of the St. Cecilia Society. But if a woman in it marries outside of the St. Cecilia Society, she can't go to the ball anymore. And so my wife likes to lord it over me that she had to resign from the St. Cecilia Society to marry me. That's the great wound in our relationship.
She's resigned from a lot.
So what happens today? Today at 1 o'clock, you and Herman Cain get together.
History happens.
No.
History happens.
That's
in what form? What form does history take?
Clapping and talking. How history has always changed, Willie, with television cameras.
Yes.
It's happening right here.
History will be
good enough for me.
Yep. History will be at least imagined.
Well,
thank you so
very
much.
exciting.
Thank you for having me. It's really, really wonderful to be here on Joe Morning.
Your father-in-law. He's a lovely man.
He's a very lovely fellow.
Very nice.
Very lovely fellow, and he puts up with me.
Yes, he does.
Stephen, the
he said
rally.
he's a Mika fan, too.
Who isn't?
I know.
That's today's one. College of Charleston today, the rally, 1 o'clock, right, Steve?
1 o'clock,
1
George
o'clock.
Street.
And the Hermanator will be there. No offense, but you're not the headliner today.
No.
It's about Herman Cain.
It's about Herman Cain.
No question. Stephen, thanks. Up next,
Stephen Colbert!